Good afternoon. Rich Nass, Executive Vice President with Open Systems Media and the leader of the Embedded franchise. I am responsible for embedded computing design and for IoT design. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk to Nadav Katsir, who is the Vice President of Sigma Design's Connectivity Unit. Good afternoon, Nadav. How are you?
Hey, Rich. Very good.
Good. So you're responsible for the group who deals with power line connectivity, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So I have issues with power line connectivity, and I need you to set me straight. It isn't a new technology, but it's not an old technology by any means, as far as technologies are concerned. But what you're doing is taking advantage of, and maybe taking advantage of isn't the right term, you're utilizing technology that in some cases is 100 years old. And what I mean by that is you want to use the power grid in my house that's 100 years old, and you think that works great and that there's not a better alternative to that. And obviously I'm putting words in your mouth, but I'll allow you to defend your technology. What do you say to that?
Rich, I'm glad you asked the question because that's exactly the beauty of the technology. We're able to take the existing wires in the house that you're right, in some cases 100 years old, in some cases maybe even older. In fact, we're running the modems in some countries, not only in the U.S., where the power grid is even worse than what you'll find in homes in the U.S. And we're able to take advantage of those wires and connect the best and newest 4K TVs and run all the contents that you can only imagine on those very old wires.
But isn't there a newer technology that would work better?
Well, so the home is probably going to have more than one home networking technologies, and we suspect that it will have at least two, and it's going to be Wi-Fi and Powerline G.hn. And the reason is because you'll have so many mobile devices in the house. In some cases, we have 10, 15 mobile devices on the wireless network, and they create dead zones that are not only because of infrastructures and thick walls, but also because you have so many wireless networks devices that are consuming video, and now 4K video, that at one point the wireless network simply cannot support all the devices. So what we're doing, we're offloading from the wireless network by connecting the TVs and the set-top boxes, all those stationary devices, all those devices that are plugged into an outlet. If they plug into an outlet, they may as well get their content through this outlet as well.
And I guess from your perspective, copper is copper, right? It just has to send electrons through.
Right. Right,
okay.
And we're able to do it regardless of the infrastructure in the house. And we've been testing and using the technology for over a year now, so we're very comfortable with the performance. And we have homes running in New England, very old homes. We have homes running in Texas, 5,000 and 6,000 and 7,000 square feet homes, and we have brand new homes in California. So we have fairly good samples and a very large number. Very large sample of homes running, and we're very comfortable to say today that it works in virtually 100% of the cases. If you plug your TV to the outlet and you get power out of this outlet, you're going to get your 4K stream as well.
Are there any instances where it doesn't work as well?
Well, not all outlets are the same. So in some cases, you may get 400 megabits per second, and in other cases, you may get 100 or 150 megabits per second. It depends on the environment, on maybe other appliances that are connected to the Powerline network, the size of the house, how all the wiring. But what we do know today, and what we can say in very high confidence, is that you will always be able to connect and stream 4K movies. We're always able to get the minimum required bandwidth.
Now that grid goes out to the street. So how do you stop somebody from accessing my network? How do you stop my next door neighbor from accessing my network?
Okay, excellent question. So it in two different layers. The first one, just like wireless network, You can see your neighbor's wireless network, but you cannot connect because it's secured. The Geo-chain power line network is secured in exactly the same way. So even if somebody can physically see the signal, it doesn't mean that they can access the network. On a physical layer, usually the signal attenuates enough so that by the time it's outside the house, you don't really see it anymore, especially passing the gauge.
Is that by design, or is that just a function of the technology?
Well, it's probably both, and I'll say both because first, the signal is such that it attenuates fairly quickly once you are outside the house and trying to cross the gauge. But there is also some thinking behind it because we are also thinking about what happens when we're installing it in an MDU environment, in an apartment building. You don't want your neighbors to start interfering with your network, not because they'll try to hack into your network, but because you don't want to degrade their performance and the other way around.
Okay. So what can we expect from a product perspective? I mean, what's available today, and what should we be looking for in the near future?
So very rich ecosystem. It starts from the very simple bridges that everybody's familiar with, the Geo-chain power line to Ethernet. And those simple bridges can connect any IP device. If you have an IP device with an Ethernet port, instead of running Cat5 to connect it to the source, you can connect it to a bridge, and the bridge will run the traffic over the power line. But we also have embedded solutions. That means that we take the modem and incorporate it into the device itself. So there are set-top boxes, gateways, wireless extenders, all of which have the Geo-chain incorporated.
Okay, that sounds pretty exciting. Unfortunately, we've used up our 5 minutes, and this is called 5 Minutes With, so we're going to have to stop here. But I'm sure people will be able to figure out how to get more information on this technology. Thank you very much, Nadav. That was Nadav Katsir. He is the Vice President of Global Connectivity for Sigma Designs, and I'm Rich Nass with Open Systems Media. Have a great day, Nadav.
Thank you, Rich. You too.